Hello, Brubs. We're back with new book Rivals number 325. And we shall start out with two new purchases from the internet. Vampire by Hans Heinz Ewers. As the sun comes through the window suddenly. Maybe I can turn off the light. This is a 19, is it 24? 34 book, and it's the third book in a trilogy of this crazy bastard, Frank Braun, who eventually becomes a vampire. He morphs into a vampire at some point. In this book, obviously. And that's all I'm going to say since I'm going to read these on this channel. The second book in the series, which just arrived about an hour ago at my doorstep, a very heavy book. It's got to weigh 3 pounds easily. And I'm not sure how to pronounce it. As you can see, it's got some crazy illustrations in it. Aron. I can't remember how to say it. I looked it up, but I don't recall how to say it. Does that say Isabel Pryor? Isabel Pryor, bruv. I'll have to look her up. Translated from the German by S. Guy Endove. Illustrated by Mablon Blaine. That's pretty risque stuff for 1929. And this, as I said, was the second book in the trilogy. Of course, the first one, which I plan to read when it arrives, is the third to arrive. In the big house, all were asleep. Below, next to the kitchen, slept Billa, the sturdy kitchen maid. Apparently a ghost. I'll look at one more. I want to keep some surprises for when I read the book. Oh my gosh. It was plain as day to Manas that death was there. So there you go. Interesting book. All right, let's get started. Most of these over here are from the thrift store that I went to last night. The Beatles, Julius Fast is the real story. The Beatles. Pretty cool book, which I thought would be worth some money, but they probably printed 10 million of them, so as far as I could tell, it's worth about $10, which I only paid $1 for it, so not bad. 1968 to Jennifer, Melissa, and Timothy. I was hoping for some signatures by the Beatles, but no such luck. There's no doubt the Beatles are the most curious, exciting musical phenomena to hit the world in a long, long time. There have been Crosbys, there have been Sinatra. Shut up. Silent Calvary, how Union soldiers from Alabama helped Sherman burn Atlanta and then got written out of history. A Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, Howell Raines, shows it was not only soldiers from northern states who helped General William Tecumseh Sherman burn Atlanta to the ground, but also an unsung regiment of 2,066 Bamian yeoman farmers, including at least one member of Raines's own family. Called the First Alabama Cavalry. Let's see who. Gotta have some pictures. Maybe not. The thrilling tale of the formation of the First Alabama while exposing the tangled tales. I don't see. Don't care anyway. Reading The Man, a portrait of Robert E. Lee through his private letters. Adrenaline, Chapter 10. My dearest Mary, I am at this magnificent hacienda of Santa Ana, 8 miles in advance of the main army, and write a few lines by the courier, who is about starting. My reason for writing is that I presume General Scott, who is behind the main army, will send dispatches to the U.S. that will convey the intelligence of a great victory. Joseph Smith, Rough Stone Rolling, a cultural biography of Mormonism's founder, Richard Lyman Bushman. Lowell, what's that say? Lowell. Joseph Smith, America's preeminent visionary and prophet, rose from a modest background to found the largest indigenous Christian church in American history. Fat book, I'll tell you that much. He was imprisoned. Nice hair, bruv. $3, bruv. That's where he was in jail. Damn. That's a fucking rough. That was a rough looking place there. Now that's a jail. Hiram. Chapter 7, Book of Mormon. All right, so there's some Mormon history. Dory and the Haunted House by Patricia Combs, whichever it is. Obviously a former library book, but that doesn't bother me at all. I will take, what's this say? Zoe Mychek. Hey, look, you even got a card. What year is this? 1985, 84, 82. So all you had to sign in was Kathy, Jenny. Monique, Leslie. That's odd. Usually you at least put your last initial. Not a very long book about witches and a haunted house. The Carpenters, the musical legacy. Couldn't stand the band, but I will sell this book, maybe $10. I'll sell it on Facebook Marketplace because it's too heavy. Keeper of the Flame. She's skinny. The Verlitzer. Oh no. The Carpenters. Seems like it'd be weird going on tour with your sister. The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Probably have 3 or 4 copies of this already. What's this say? What the hell is this? Is it part of the book? Apparently it is part of the book. So I cannot get it out. Will not come out. What the fuck is this? I don't think it's part of the book. I think it's just been in there so long that it won't come out. Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, $5.97. You know Sherlock Holmes, obviously. Empire of Pain, The Secret History of the Sackler Dynasty. A real-life version of the HBO series Succession with a lethal sting in its tale. A masterful work of narrative reporting. The Sackler name has adorned the walls of many storied institutions. Harvard, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Oxford, the Louvre, they are one of the richest families in the world, known for their lavish donations to the arts and sciences. The source of the family fortune was vague, however, until it emerged that the Sacklers were responsible for making and marketing a blockbuster painkiller, OxyContin, that was the catalyst for the opioid crisis. Well, I mean, you can't totally blame the opioid thing on the producer. I mean, doctors are trying to give you an opiate anytime you see them. The Doctor and the Devils by Dylan Thomas. Another one of these Time Life or Time Inc. books, which, if you pull the cover, is like a piece of lacquered wood. E.J. Zeller. Yeah, these are like paneling almost, these covers. I don't know who thought of this marketing plan to have a piece of paneling as the cover. Almost like a hardcover, but they snap off. And they don't smell so great either. They kind of have, this one I think is just musty. But I couldn't pass it up. It's a nice copy. Dylan Thomas, of course. This probably, I don't even know if this was published during his lifetime, since he died when he was like 38 or 9. And was drunk most of the time and impoverished. Top Secret, The Pyramids and the Pentagon. The government's top secret pursuit of mystical relics, ancient astronauts, and lost civilizations. His belief that rather than being the brains behind the Sphinx, the pharaoh Khafre remodeled it according to his own design. On this point, Schock makes the important observation that at some point long, long ago, significant changes appear to have been made to the head of Sphinx. It is, without doubt, far too small when compared to its body. Schock says that, in its original form, the head would have been weathered in much the same way as the body appears to have been. He believes it was recarved in dynastic periods, and during the process, the head was reduced in size. Top Secret. Dutchman and the Slave, 2 plays by Leroy Jones, or is it Leroy? Either way, I was reading the other day that Wanda Coleman, the poet, late poet, who I once sent $50 to in an envelope and said, "Could you please send me a signed copy of your book?" And she did, with a note admonishing me for making her do all kinds of work for a book. But she sent it, so I was appreciative. Apparently, Black Sparrow Press didn't give the author a box load of books. They had to buy their own book. So she had to go and buy the book, and then she signed it and sent it back to me, which was nice of her, with the note admonishing me for being a dickhead. Anyway, this was listed as one of her favorite books, so I figured I'll pick it up, and I did. The Warmth of Other Suns, the epic story of America's Great Migration. I guess it's the one during the 20s. There she is. Hi. This is narrative nonfiction, lyrical and tragic and fatalist. The story exposes, the story moves, the story ends. What Wilkerson urges finally isn't argument at all. It's compassion. Hush and listen. In this epic, beautifully written masterwork, Pulitzer Prize-winning author Isabel Wilkerson chronicles one of the great untold stories of American history, the decades-long migration of black citizens who fled the South for northern and western cities in search of a better life. From 1915 to 1970, this exodus of almost 6 million people changed the face of America. She interviewed more than 1,000 individuals and gained access to new data. Obviously, many of them came to the Midwest because of the auto industry in Detroit. I don't know how much coverage Detroit gets, but you would think it gets quite a bit. Detroit. What do you got, bruv? James Baldwin collected essays, notes of a native son. Nobody knows my name the first next time. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Reading's great, bruv. I prefer newspapers, but it's hard to find newspapers out there, so books it is. This one I plan to sell since I looked on eBay and it's going for about $20 a copy. I shall sell this and that will pay for this whole pile here that I just bought. James Baldwin was a goofy looking motherfucker, but he was, can't remember what the big controversy he was in about something. A self-described transatlantic commuter who spent much of his life in France. James Baldwin joined cosmopolitan sophistication in a fierce engagement with social issues. Collected Essays is the most comprehensive gathering of his nonfiction ever published. He used to be on a bunch of talk shows and argued with people. I just can't think of what the big controversy was. Probably civil rights, that's my guess, but I don't know. I know he was gay, so that might have been some of the controversy, but I don't think so. Anne Rice, The Vampire Chronicles Collection. Thought I had a copy of this, but apparently I do not. And this is a pretty nice copy, so does this have all the... Can't have all the books. Interview with the Vampire Lestat, The Queen of the Damned. It does 3 complete books in one thing. Cray. Not that I don't have the books as well, but there you go. There you go, bro. It was 50 cents. How could you pass it up? How? Akasha, the Queen of the Damned, has risen from a 6,000-year sleep. All right. That's where I mean, it's basically the fucking romance vampires. It's probably foretold. What's it called? Stephanie Meyer series. Twilight. I mean, that's just the more grown-up version of that. America in the King years, 1965 to 68, at Canaan's Edge. Not sure how to pronounce that, but a thrilling book, marvelous in both its breadth and its detail. There is drama in every paragraph. At Canaan's Edge concludes America in the King Years, a 3-volume history that will endure as a masterpiece of storytelling on American race, violence, and democracy. Pulitzer Prize winner and best-selling author Taylor Branch makes clear in this magisterial account of the civil rights movement that Martin Luther King. Who was that kid? That kid was brilliant. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. earned a place next to James Madison and Abraham Lincoln in the pantheon of American history. Mulock's poetical works, which is weird because on the inside it doesn't say Mulock's poetical works. It says, and there she is, Dinah Mulock, Mrs. Craik. Dinah Maria Mulock Craik, author of John Halifax, Gentleman, Inc. Poems by Dinah Maria Mulock, Thomas Crowell and Company. To my husband. This under voice for 20 years, still running on a brook unheard. Not sure if she was even a minor poet. Never heard of her, but maybe she was a known poet because, like I said, I've never heard of her. A Lancashire doxology. Not sure what year it is. It seems to be missing a page here somewhere. Yeah. Does that say? Astor edition. Thomas Crowell. Whoa, Joseph Smith. The Sign of the Ram by Margaret Ferguson. Nice little doodle. The Blackiston Company, Philadelphia. Come on, turn the page. The month of April. What year is this? 1944. The month of April. Born under this sign, they are endowed with strong willpower, determination, and obstinacy of purpose. They will stick at nothing to accomplish their purpose, and often meet a violent death. They have a magnificent store of health and energy, though their very excess of vitality is a danger. They desire to be looked up to and regarded as the head, both in their homes and their careers. You and your stars, Chiro, Sign of the Ram. I'm guessing this is about, I don't know what it's about. And then we move into these. Well, I'll start with this one. Picked this up at an estate sale. Beyond and back, they went into the unknown and returned with startling revelations about life after death. Some will believe, others will not. Decide for yourself. I already have this book, but I believe this copy is in better shape, so no spine creases, so I had to get it. I think I only got charged $6 for an entire box of books, some trophies, and all kinds of crap at the estate sale, so it was worth it. What year is this? Ralph Wilkerson. 1978, dedicated to my loving wife. Child comes back to life. Harry Rainville, who attends Melody Land regularly with his wife Irene, is another person who has been beyond and back. Now 71 and semi-retired, blah, blah, blah. His experience of death occurred when he was nearly 3 years old, living on a farm in the Black Hills of South Dakota. The farm was near St. Ange, a French community. My father was blah, blah, blah. I was a peppy little fellow, and while Dad was standing at the forge heating an iron, I took hold of the point of the anvil and tried to throw my legs over it. This upset the anvil. I landed on my back with the point of the anvil almost through the middle of my stomach, rupturing part of my intestines. A self-taught veterinarian, my father pulled the anvil off. I'm trying not to break the spine on this, so my intestines were exposed. So he took them out, stacked them on my stomach, and washed them. He then put the intestines back into place and wrapped my stomach with a cloth. Fortunately, a train was due at the town depot right after the accident, so the family rushed me by train to a hospital in Belfourche, about 20 miles away. I survived surgery but got whooping cough and dysentery. In those days, doctors didn't know how to control it, and I looked like a skeleton. I soon died, but Mother couldn't accept it. No, no, I don't believe he's dead, she insisted over and over. The doctor and his staff tried for nearly 3 hours to convince her there was no hope and that the body should be taken to a mortuary. In a final effort to convince her, the doctor put a cold glass over my mouth to detect any sign of breath. He listened again for a heartbeat and checked for pulse. Nothing, no sign of life. But she insisted her son wasn't going to die. The doctor and nurses finally gave up in disgust and left her alone with the body. A Christian and strict Southern Baptist, she dropped to her knees and prayed. She prayed by my bedside all night, and God heard her. At 9 o'clock the following morning, 17 13.5 hours after I was dead, I began to breathe. I was nursed back to health, blah, blah, blah. Believe it or not, bruvs. That's what he claims. Next are the Angelique series books, which there's apparently 9 of them. And I grabbed as many as I could see, and I didn't realize I had doubles. But the series, as you can see, there's a double, Countess Angelique. There's another double. That this series is worth some money. I didn't know it. I just grabbed them because it was a series, and I'm a book hoarder, so. And if I would have found all nine books in the series, I would have had about $170 worth of books, but I only found 8 plus the doubles, so it's about 120 or so. I will probably sell them since I'm not really into romance novels. Is she tempting you, bruv? Let her tempt you, bruv. I mean, she's a huge hoe. That's what each book's about, her meeting some new dude. She kind of changes. I don't think that's the same woman, is it? She's better looking. Look at her. Dracula. Can't you get the same person to do each cover? There she looks older. I'm getting old now, but I'm still a hoe. That's the best looking one of all of them. Maybe this one too. Even though she does look like maybe those aren't bangs. Alright, so that's that series. Like I said, I will sell these because I'm not reading romance. And if they were only worth $20 as a set, I wouldn't sell them. But since they're worth like 100 and something, we'll sell them to fund my madness. I mean, those books. This book cost me, I think, $70, and this one cost $220. So I need to pay for them. So I will sell some of these. Norton paperback fiction. All Men Are Mortal. Simone de Beauvoir, or however you say it. Hello, props. Probably Simone de Beauvoir. Strangest and most compelling novel, All Men Are Mortal, is a captivating exemplum of the existentialist credo. A beautiful and accomplished young actress revives a downcast stranger at a French resort. He becomes thoroughly attached to her at first and confides a terrifying truth. He is immortal. At this point, the power in their relationship shifts. She can think of nothing greater than having her performances remembered forever. She too will then become immortal. But having been resuscitated into enjoying life again, this former medieval ruler starts breaking free from her grasp and all notions of morality. A shocking look at the meaning of existence. Beauvoir creates a chilling and spellbinding narrative. She was a writer and philosopher. She is most famous for her landmark feminist text, The Second Sex. Her novels include She Came to Stay and The Mandarins, which won France's highest honor, the Prix Goncourt, or is it the Prix Goncourt? Goncourt. I think it's Prix. The hotel was asleep. Roger stretched and yawned. God, I am tired. Regina went to a window overlooking the hotel's little garden. She raised the Venetian blind. That man, she exclaimed, he's already up. I wonder why on earth he gets up so early. He was there, stretched out on a deck chair, as immobile as a Hindu ascetic. He was there every morning. He never read, he never slept, he spoke to no one, he did nothing but gaze at the sky with his wide open eyes. From dawn to dusk he lay there in the middle of the lawn without moving. Aren't you coming to bed? Roger asked. No, I'm going to get some air. Wonder if she goes and bangs him. Guess we'll never know because I'm shutting this book and going to eat my cereal. 99-cent purchase. I should have waited to this week because this week at the Step thrift store, pink is half off. I could have got this fucker for 50 cents. 50 cents. Of course, it did say free, so they should have gave it to me for free. All right, that's all, bros. That's all.